concrete things to make sure I had this right. So you all, was it you and Joe Joe Nagoose who originally applied for the grant? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, would you mind telling me like how that happened or how you came across the...
Sure. Well, yeah, it's kind of a weird situation. So we were starting the organization already, and it wasn't like real yet. It wasn't off the ground, but we were starting to have the conversation. We were putting some basic things together, and then a good friend of mine who ended up working in New Era and is currently the board chair. His parents were living abroad, and they were part of Democrats Abroad or something like that.
Yeah.
And on some newsletter list, saw that there was this grant application for a family that was looking for a startup organization run by young people, trying to engage young people in the political process. And one of the states they were looking at was Colorado.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so he sent that, or his parents sent that to him. He sent that to me, and he was my roommate at the time. And basically, we were like, "Oh, this is really bizarre. This is basically what we're talking about starting. We clearly have to apply." And so we did, and one thing led to another, and basically they called us and said, you're one of the finalists. We're flying out to Denver to interview you and sort of meet with you. And that happened, and then a few weeks after that, I was literally working at a summer camp up in the mountains with kids. And got the call saying we've selected you as one of the grantees.
Wow.
And, at the time that was just crazy because it allowed us, it gave us the guts to really pull the trigger on this organization for real. And also, at the time, it didn't pan out to totally result in this, but at the time, the pledge from the grant was, over the course of 3 years, was $250,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was more money than I had ever heard of.
Right.
At the age of 22. So it was a big deal, and that basically set it in motion. And we basically were like, all right, this thing is for real. Steve will be the executive director. The other people that have been involved in this, we'll join the board, and we'll hire a few people, and we'll see if we can make this work. And the first while was really difficult. It was just, we didn't know what we were doing.
Right. You
we
mentioned that.
didn't know how to fundraise.
Yeah.
The grant was a matching grant, so it wasn't just money, but we had to actually match it with fundraising. So it was hard. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, maybe the hardest thing I ever will do.
Right. I didn't realize that you you already were thinking of starting a voting organization or some kind of organization before can you tell me about how did you get that idea, or why did that occur to you, of all the things to do when you're 22?
Well, we were super involved in campus politics, and we were involved in Colorado politics to an extent, but as students, right? So we were kind of involved in student government and campaigns and stuff. And so, and then when you're on campus, candidates come to your campus and they'll do rallies and stuff. And, I think when we graduated, it was sort of we had this realization that in the real world, young people weren't really given a seat at the table in a meaningful way in state-level politics. So we intended to start this type of organization. We didn't have it all figured out. We didn't know what type of, tax designation it needed to be. We didn't know if it was a PAC or a nonprofit. But we were starting to put together the building blocks of what became New Era before we even knew about the grant.
Okay. I didn't realize that. And then so you would just like go, I mean, this may seem like silly details, but they're like help set a scene. So would you like just go to each other's like apartments or like hang out in a bar? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was literally like in living rooms, talking about stuff and taking notes. And again, we didn't know what we were doing, but
right.
we knew we wanted to do something, and we knew that there was a need for it because if it had already existed, we would have been a part of it.
I see.
I
okay.
mean,
right.
So there were opportunities here and there on campuses, but there wasn't anything like for young people and for, in general. So we didn't want to just be student-centric. But then the other thing is it really didn't provide a real hands-on way to be involved in state-level politics. Like a campaign here and there would come to campus or would, recruit volunteers, but that was kind of short-lived for the campaign purposes. It wasn't about building power for young people on a state level, and that's really what we wanted to do.
Right. It's amazing that you had that realization. Like you weren't just going to take a canvassing job and then think, or whatever else you could have done. That seems like, I don't know, you had. How do you think you had that understanding that was like not a sustainable one way to live, to like that wasn't a kind of sophisticated way of thinking about things? How do you think you had that insight? Yeah.
I think part of it was, to be honest, we were all involved in student government, and the odd but great thing about the CU Boulder student government is that it has student fee autonomy, and actually is quite powerful. So it has about a $40 million budget every year, and it's autonomous, so it's completely run by students that are elected to the student government. And oddly enough, that's actually under attack right now. The university administration has taken very serious steps to strip students of that autonomy.
I saw that. Yeah.
So it's under threat, but students are given a serious seat at the table and can make a lot of decisions for themselves. And I think when we graduated, we realized that there is no avenue for that, and we sort of got a taste of being treated like equals, and people would value our voice and give us a seat at the table. And that wasn't really the same thing when it came to state level politics. You had to really fight for your way in. And even then, it was difficult to navigate. We didn't understand the rules. We didn't have anyone to help. And so I think that's really where the realization came from.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. And then so these people, the people from the grant fly out and they interview you. Was there, does anything stand out from that interview, or was it just kind of standard issue?
No, I mean, it was like the first time I had ever done anything like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think it was at it was at a nice kind of fancy hotel in Denver. And that was like I had never stepped foot in a fancy hotel.
Right.
And it's like where they were staying,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And we were like in the lobby doing the interview. I barely probably had a suit to wear. Right. So it was kind of funny. It was a little awkward. It was a little bit of like fake it till you make it. And it was sort of this, we were a startup. We didn't really exist yet, but at the same time we had to act like we did exist. Or at least we had to act like we knew exactly what we would do if we got the money.
I know that feeling.
Kind of funny.
Yes. Yeah.
So it like we were super nervous and we were taking it so seriously. I mean, like, once we got the funding, the cool thing about that program and that family was they gave us money, but they also gave us staff resources. So they actually had essentially like a technical assistance person that helped us with stuff. They had someone help us write grants.
Oh, amazing.
They had a guy who basically like we had weekly phone calls with.